and I'm a perfectionist, so and since I edited
Why
these videos.
does that not surprise me?
I don't know. No idea. I've been saying this a lot lately because it's a mantra I've been trying to adopt, because it's like done is better than perfect, because perfect is never done. Because I will
like
100%.
I need to tell my daughter that, my little perfectionist
Because
daughter.
you will 100% get in your own way.
Absolutely, yes.
Like it's the Patty G podcast. I was listening to it yesterday because I know Trent's always going to ask me the question, dude, do we sound stupid? Right? So I was listening to it yesterday when I was working out. My daughter is sick right now, so she stayed home from school. She came in the garage and while I was working out, and she was like just watching the podcast on my phone, because it was on my phone. And the freaking little girl, she was like, Dad. I was like, can I watch something else? I was like, no, dude, I gotta watch this. I gotta make sure like this is good. Uncle Trent's gonna ask me this later, Right. And I wanna make sure we don't look stupid. And then she was like, it's just 3 people talking about your life. And I was like, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely correct about it, But I always get in my own way about things. And I said that on that podcast too, because that's when I first started really thinking about that. Because you just have to move.
Yeah.
You just have to start doing things, and eventually you'll figure it out. Like we're very good problem solvers, and obviously this is the business that we're in, great at solving problems. But for some reason, like if you left it up to me sometimes, I wouldn't start. Like I'd be in the planning phase forever. And then Trent was bringing that up about the podcast. His whole thing is like, do it and then micro tune, right? And then we were talking about how the name came about with like your mom's. And then I was thinking like, like I could change the name after like I left the ATC office. Apparently you can't do that.
Right, no,
you can't do that. I did not know that when I first started. And then Trent was like, that's the one time that like that whole micro tune didn't work.
Yeah, I can change the name. No, you can't do any of that. You can't do that. No. Well, what would be hysterical is to have a panel drinking of all of us, and we might need a facilitator to ask questions, because we would probably go crazy, but that would be.
I'm so glad you said that, because that is actually on my list of things to make happen before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I want to get you in here. I want to get just everyone, like anyone who wants to, like maybe once a week we'll come in here. I think at the most right now we do 4, but we have enough mics to do, what would you say, Jeff? 6, 7?
8 at the most.
I mean, Pants Party right now is probably going to be the biggest one that we've ever done, because I think there's like 6 band members.
I sometimes I would love to be on the outside looking in when we're all together.
I love that. These we have 4 of these, and I love these mics because they make you sound so good. It's
great.
These mics.
I like that.
Yeah, it's the mic. It's not me.
It's not my voice, really. It's the mic. Good.
I absolutely hate my voice, and it wasn't until we got these mics that I was like, this isn't that bad.
So that's why you were upset when you did the podcast.
Yes.
That you didn't use your own mic.
I know. I had the mic.
Yeah.
It was on. It was just my computer settings were running the laptop microphone instead of this microphone. And I was like, bro, I never would have agreed to this. I would have.
I know. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Seeing Quentin at the LRA was super freaking cool too.
Yeah.
He was having a really good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I wonder if we have any footage of him.
You can watch him. He's getting more comfortable.
Yes, he is, 100%. Yeah. I didn't realize it when our podcast first started, when he was interviewing me, that he'd gone to our moms like a lot, like before when he was in Hammond.
Yes. Well, he'd mentioned that on the podcast, which I thought was really cool. I mean, he was Jones. He was excited to tell you that.
I was like, that was super cool. I was like, bro, like, what a great surprise to drop, Because, I mean, we've been in business for 15 years and I still don't think people eat with us. It's that weird thought process that I have. It's like, oh, you know about us?
Yeah.
Like.
JP, that is great. Wait, you know me?
Yeah.
You know our restaurant?
I still think that.
Well, you're behind the
time.
scenes, so it's more our restaurant.
Mm-hmm. So now that's the reason why I want to start doing these is you got to start putting a face to a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you have to.
You have to, absolutely.
The world's changed so much, and you got to keep up.
Mm-hmm. Whether you want to or not, you got to do it. I talk to my husband about it all the time. He's like, why why are you doing all this stuff? I'm like, because we have to. You have to be relevant. You have to be out there. You have to be in the know. You've got to share ideas. You've got to network, and the only way to do that is being out there.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like, how do you manage doing that with like a family and like businesses and like, I haven't figured it out yet. It seems
I don't know.
Overwhelming at times.
Yes, I agree with you. And what's interesting is I don't have any kids at home anymore, which really sucks. But I
was about to say, you sound sad about that.
But early in my career, I traveled a lot. But the deal was, everybody knew when I was at work, it was 100% work. And when I was home, it was 100% home. Because that's the only way I could figure out how to make it work. So when I was out of town, I really didn't talk to my family. And that's when John was with the kids. And when I came home, I was in all my kids' business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I volunteered at school. I never missed anything. Certainly I missed some things. I never missed the big stuff. But you just, because it's hard, but I love it.
So you had to compartmentalize.
Yep.
That's still tough for me because work doesn't end when you get home. You know that now.
Oh no, yeah, no, it doesn't end when you get home.
Yeah, no.
Right.
It used to when you clocked in for a 9 to 5. How easy was that?
Right.
And then now it's like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm working. You're like, what do you mean you're working? You're in you're at home in the office, you know?
Well.
My kids think I'm watching YouTube videos or something on the computer, like they're, you're like, you're working?
Right. Like, well, and I was very fortunate when I worked for Outback that my kids went everywhere with me.
Oh, they were allowed to come with you?
Oh, yeah. So
that's very cool.
So 21 restaurants, Louisiana and Arkansas, they traveled with me. I had a babysitter in Little Rock, traveled all around, came back, stayed in Little Rock. Meetings, Bruce insisted they came with me. So it was all in the family, right? I mean, it was very cool. I was very fortunate.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I want to know more about that whole Outback era for you. But technically, I want to know how it all started, but I feel like the Outback and the Bruce part is where you really started to grow into this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just from listening to your stories, like I don't know much about your past or your history. Yeah. I want to though.
Okay.
All right, tell me.
Dive into that.
I want to know.
Okay.
What makes Megan Megan?
Well, I didn't want to be in this business.
Really? So, you have to be kind of crazy to choose this business, right? And we're all a little crazy.
I grew up in it. My dad was in the food industry. Now, he ran restaurants, but he was actually, he was in Chicago running the largest meat packing plant. He was he was a meat guy. And Billy Trotter recruited him from Chicago to come back to New Orleans. He was born and raised in New Orleans to be with Self-Service Restaurant Group. So I've known the restaurant business my entire life. My mom was in the clothing business and I loved it. I didn't want to own a store, but I knew I wanted to be in that world. And I don't want to say God had a different plan for me, but there were roadblocks along the way. My parents wouldn't let me go to school where I wanted to go to school, which was really weird because they were in the fashion industry. They should have understood what FIT was. Then when finally they realized it, my degree I wanted to go in was only offered once a year. I got accepted, I got a scholarship, and then I was in a terrible car accident.
Oh.
I mean, it was terrible enough to where I couldn't go up to New York City. I had to finish. So there were just things. So I finished college. I almost quit. My dad said, "Are you kidding me? You have 9 hours left. You're going to quit?" So I was like, okay. So, and everybody I knew was going back to school because they couldn't find jobs. And I thought, there's no way in hell I'm going back to school. It's just not my deal. Yeah. I did it. I got the degree. It's not a dumb degree, but it's just basically a general studies business degree, right? It's a business administration degree. What am I going to do? I'm not going back to school. So I was waiting on tables at Chili's and loved it. That wasn't my first real job, but it was my first job in the industry. And my dad was very instrumental with my headspace. Like, I would come home and he would say, "How much money did you make?" And I'd say, "Oh, my shift sucked. I only made $60. And he's like, "Okay, how many hours did you work?" 2. Go somewhere else and get paid $30 an hour at your age. I'm like, oh, whoa. Mm-hmm. And then he talked about how my section was my own personal business and I need to treat it like it was my own business. And so through growing up in this industry, he taught me a lot that I didn't even realize until later on. So Outback was a franchise in Louisiana, and the man that owned the franchise I grew up with. I've known him my entire life. My dad and his dad were in business together, and he was always saying, you're going to come work for me one day. And I kept saying, no, I'm not going to come work for you. And so I called him and said, okay, I want to come interview. So I go to this interview and I'm sitting on one side of a desk and Braxton's sitting on the other. And this man walks out and sits next to me, kind of right where you are, Bruce Attinger. And that was my first introduction. And they just kept asking me what I wanted to do. Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And the thing about me is I'm just honest. I don't know how to not tell the truth. And I said, here's my story. I don't know what I want to do. I know I love this industry. Obviously, Braxton, you see something in me. So he offered me a crazy salary. And I looked at him and said, there's no way. I make almost twice as much waiting on tables. I know it's going to be a step back, but you got to start somewhere. So Bruce said, all right, how much do you want to make? So I gave him a $5,000 range and he hit me right down the middle. I thought, okay, this is good. And so off I go. And one stipulation was he wanted me to start in October, but I was graduating from college in December and I was going to South Africa for 6 weeks.
Oh. This
man hired me and then let me go to South Africa for 6 weeks. That's, I don't want to say unheard of, but that right there, I thought this is going to be a different experience. So I was hired for a role that wasn't yet to fruition. It was a service tech role, and you had to have so many restaurants before that position kicked in place. So I literally moved to Shreveport, and Bruce wanted me to learn all aspects of the business. Now, I didn't cost anybody any money because Bruce was paying me. So here I am in a restaurant as a manager doing all the bookwork, all the P&Ls, all everything, failing, learning, growing. And no one wanted me to excel because I was free labor, really is what it was. So I had to go out there and figure it out, which is pretty cool when you got to figure it out on your own, right?
That's the best way to learn.
Yes. And so literally from the grill to prep to waiting on tables to bartending at Outback, I searched for the best of the best in that restaurant. And I went to them and said, I'm going to come work with you this night. I want you to teach me. I want to be able to be you on the grill. So that's what I did. And then Bruce, and then I was asked to be a computer tech, which was, Outback did a lot of stuff on paper, or this was in 93, 94, or no systems that spoke to one another, right? So there was a lot of data entry. So there were many Outbacks in the country that, I started Outback when there were 75 restaurants, okay? There were many restaurants in the country that were really literally doing things by paper, and they got some systems in place, and I went around and taught the managing partners how to do these systems and how to do a P&L. So again, it was a growth opportunity for me. Then we had enough restaurants that I became the service tech, which was, it was a fun role. Like all I did was teach and train and impact people. I mean,
wow.
Right?
That's a
How
good
cool
job.
Is that? So I just went to restaurants.
I feel like that's right up your alley.
Fed my soul. And the lady, Trudy Cooper, one of the founders of Outback, we reported to her, so to speak. Like she came up with this role. She's a badass. Like I adore her. And so we're just doing what we thought we were supposed to do. And there were 8 or 9 of us to start, and we went to Keys, and here she is. You were all so excited to meet Trudy and talk to her about this role. And she's like, all right, so tell me what y'all are doing. And we were like, wait. We were coming here for you to tell us what we're supposed to be doing. She's like, no, we're creating this together. So really ground floor, let's figure out this position. What are y'all doing? Share ideas. And we created this amazing role, a food tech role, a service tech role, and we just went in and upheld standards, taught the culture. We were the culture drivers of the company. So were the coordinators that opened restaurants, and many of the service techs were coordinators also. But we were the heartbeat, right? We went in and we played. Employees were excited to see us. Bruce kept saying, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I said, okay, I will hire, but I will never fire. He's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not your manager. I want people to be excited for me to come into the restaurant. And they were. And so it was a constant personal development while teaching other people. And I did that for 17 years. And it was from the dishwashers to the hostess, to the bartenders, to the managers, to the managing partners, to the JVPs. Like, new JVPs would come in, and we would show them what it was like to work in multi-units, you know. So here I was, not a joint venture partner, but I was still involved with their development of area. It was just, and you don't know what you know until you remove yourself from that situation. You're like, holy cow, I could have never afforded the education I got from Outback Steakhouse. From learning about people, teaching people. Arlene McCullough was Trudy's sister, and she used to come to our meetings and do these personality things with us. Because when you go to a new store opening, you're working with 18 brand new people. Half the time you don't know any of them, especially if I went outside of my area, right? If I went to White Plains, New York, I was working with a training team I'd never met. So you got to figure out who these people are quickly, what their strengths are, and where to put them to be the most successful. Because the last thing you want to do is put someone in a bad spot where they're not successful, because you're only strong as your weakest link, right? So we did this color personality, and of course everybody's made up of all these colors, but
almost like a disc profile.
Yes. Yeah. So, and Arlene's system was very, very, I mean, it's what she taught us. It was blue, orange, green, yellow, and it breaks down different personalities. And you're probably very, very gold, but have a lot of orange. And I am blue to the max, which is the emotional, I'm going to give you my last dollar. Let me make sure everybody feels good. You know, that's important. I want everybody to be successful. Not that, but you know, we're made up of all those colors, right?
Usually a good mix
right? And what Trudy and Arlene wanted us to do was work on our weakest color, so we were well balanced and really connect. So when you go into these openings or you go into these stores and you meet all these new people, it's like, how can I connect with this person? How can I make an impact? And how are they going to influence me? That was the other piece. So it was just, it was amazing. My husband was a managing partner, and we moved from Shreveport to Baton Rouge, and he opened up the Jones Creek location. Well, it just closed Sunday after 24 years. Yes, right there. Yes. And it's like a gut punch. I'm heartbroken because
they just closed.
I mean, tells you where we are right now in the environment, right? But, you know, that was our home.
That sucks.
It sucks. Yes. And, you know, John has been out of the business probably longer now than he was in the business, but you know, it's still that emotional.
It's yours.
It's yours. Yeah. It's yours. Yeah. So Outback was, it was a true gift. Bruce Attinger. So the culture piece of Outback, Outback is successful because of their culture. Yes, there was a good product. Yes, there was a great, you know, they had the best of the best, Chris, Tim, Bob, Trudy. But it was that culture piece. It was about putting people first. It was about celebrating. It was celebrating first, then evaluating losses. You had to celebrate first. It was about your success was measured through sales and profits by putting your people first. You know, and your people weren't just your employees. Your people were your purveyors. Your people were your community. So your partners, your Outbackers, your purveyors, your community, the neighborhoods. It was such a, I don't want to say, they took all the good things that they loved about the industry and brought it together and threw all the bad stuff they didn't like, and they created their own deal. And for all of us for the entire company, but for those of us that were the coordinators and the service techs and the food techs, and we worked one-on-one with those 4 founders, it was an education that was amazing.
I love this. Everything that you just said is what I've been trying to do and figure out on my own through reading books and talking to people. I've never worked for a larger company that's already figured it out.
Yeah.
But then again, I think maybe the fun part for me is figuring it out.
Well,
right?
And certainly they had to figure it out also, right? So
like creating positions like Patrick Foy. This is the first time we've ever had a true director of operations to take over what he's currently doing right now, and not just like managing people, but like exactly what you're talking about right now, which now knowing that he came from you, he probably understands what I'm trying to do a lot better than I understand what I'm trying to do. All I want to do is take care of my people. If I take care of my people, they'll take care of my guests.
Absolutely.
If I take care of my guests, they'll come back, we'll make money, we'll stay in business, and then we can give that back to the community.
And it's really that simple. And one of the things we used to always say is you have your customers and their money, right? You need to separate your customer from your money. If you're taking care of this customer, the money's going to come. Don't get hung up on the money. Get hung up on the customer. And you get hung up on the customer by taking care of your people. If your staff is having fun, they're taken care of, they feel safe, they feel secure, they're growing, they're being heard, they're going to take damn good care of your customers. And that money's just going to keep coming. It's not about the money. It's all about the people.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you though.
Okay.
My problem that I'm currently facing is I am all on the positive side, but I've been using the term protecting the team lately. How can I protect my team from the ones that are trying to destroy my team? Because you can't always figure out who they are, but I'm not moving fast enough on finding like the toxic people, like the ones that are like tearing people down or not caring or who don't live the culture, right? Like how do I spot them? I don't know, because to me, I've been given so many second chances in my life that I don't do that to other people. You know,
you don't give them second chances?
No, I do give them.
I
give them way more than two.
Way more than you should. Right.
Way more. But the longer you leave somebody that doesn't truly fit, the worse off you are, I guess. Yeah. You know.
So, and of course, this is from Outback because it's what I know, right? But kind with people, tough on results. And
soft on people, like tough on standards, soft on people. Is that
not soft, kind?
Kind. I like
kind
that.
With people. Not soft, kind with people. So we all, I think human beings all want feedback, right? Good, bad, ugly, I think it's human nature. And
I think feedback is a gift.
Feedback is a gift. I 100% agree. And I think it's a disservice when we don't give feedback, good or bad. Again, and look, I'm not a fan of the Oreo. I don't think it needs to be
a compliment sandwich. I don't like compliment sandwiches.
I don't either.
Just cut to the chase. Just tell me what I need to.
And then in the world today with social media and like everyone always says to me, millennials are such a pain in the ass. Blah blah blah. No, they're not. No. Once you understand them, you realize we have a lot to learn from them. Value me, what I know. So if I'm a better host at the door, if you're teaching me how to greet someone at the door, but naturally I'm already better, why are you wasting my time? Teach me something I don't know. Validate that I'm doing this very well. And let's move on to the next thing. And if I can pull up my phone and figure it out in 30 seconds, but it's taking you 4 hours, give me the hands-on, teach me those kind of things. But kind with people, tough on results. If the results aren't happening, then
what do you do?
Well, I'm just kind of I've gotten to a point. I am such an emotional person. Bruce, by the way, Bruce did make me fire someone one day, and I cried through the whole termination. I was like, how did that go for you? I cried through the whole termination, and I kept saying, and this is true, I kept saying, this is not personal, this is business, because I just loved this little girl. She was stealing. And I busted her, and he's like, all right. I was like, no, this is not. I always said I wouldn't fire. He had put me in a restaurant for 90 days because we had fired the entire management team. So I was literally there. I just told you I was an emotional person, right? I was literally there early in the morning investigating what went on and then running shifts with hourly managers. And I was spent. And then I couldn't talk to anyone about what was going on because it was all confidential.
Yeah.
And I busted this precious girl that I love stealing. And Bruce said, you have to fire her. So I cried through the whole thing. And it was...
You cried, she probably cried.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I laugh about it now. I'm not glad I fired her, but I'm glad I finally fired someone because once you do something that you say you're never going to do, I don't want to say it becomes easier, but you're not as scared to do it the next go around, right? And you have to do things that you're scared of or you're not going to grow. But it's not personal, it's business. And when it comes to business, I think cut to the chase, tell them exactly what it is. So I have gotten to a point where I don't let anything linger because then the frustrations
creates resentment.
And then, right? So you've got this person that you've been too soft on or you've let them just chance after chance after chance and now you blow up. Right? So I don't blow up anymore. If I do blow up, it's got to be really, really bad. And it's more scary when you don't blow up to everybody else. And unfortunately, who's the person that you fire? It's probably one of your rock stars because they just made a dumb decision, but you had to be tough on results. But there's a kind way to do it. And I think when you tell yourself something over and over again, kind with people, tough on results, kind with people, tough on results. Here are the results. If you don't meet them, let's talk about them. How can you improve? And by the way, you have this much time to get it right. And if you don't, you've already had more than enough opportunity for me. And it's not personal, it's just business.
Ah, man. Okay, so I'm too kind with people. That's my problem. Because I always think people can change.
You must not have been burned enough times.
I've been burned too many times. I've been told this before, you have trust issues, but I don't. I have the opposite of trust issues. I have too much trust because I always think that next person is going to, like I said, so many people have taken chances on me and I believe that everyone can change, but you have to want to change. And you might not be in the season of life that you want to change right now.
But you know what, JP? I would rather trust first.
I'm with you. Trust and then validate, or
and
trust
then validate,
and follow.
Yep. or prove me wrong, and okay, lesson learned, cut my losses, than to be skeptical all the time.
I don't want to live that way. I'm 100% with you on that one. That's why I haven't changed the way that I've approached my team, is because I'm going to trust you. So now the reason why I have a great partner is because I get to be myself and he gets to, my term for this is, you have to tell me when enough is enough. Because if I'm going to help you, you have to connect with somebody. Exactly.
Right? Or your reality check.
Because I can't help you and then think that you're lying to me. If I think you're lying to me, I'll just get rid of you. Right? It's just, I'm not an idiot, right? I'm just trusting. So if I'm helping you, I think that what you're telling me is the truth. And then we sit down, we game plan things. We talk about action items. We put measurable goals, time. It's got to have a time limit to it, right? Within this amount of time.
Yes.
And I've said this before, it's by the time I have to get rid of somebody, they're like, I didn't think you were serious. I was like, what made you think I wasn't serious? Because I don't yell, I don't raise my voice. And I don't demean people. I don't talk down to you. I've never been that person. I think it's disgusting when I see it, right? Once again, being kind with people, every person I've ever terminated, it's always been, hey, one-on-ones, here's all the things, man, it's just not working out, and you're still going through, treat them as a human being, right? Because usually by the time, I've seen this with a lot of managers, is by the time they have to terminate somebody, they've already let all those feelings build up and then they blow up on this dude, right? Or this girl. And then they just, they say things they don't truly mean, or maybe they do mean them,
Well, right. And I think you get to that point because there's not enough communication along the way.
So when you talked about kindness, so we created an MOM system. It's a how we treat people manual, basically, Mom's operating method. It has nothing to do with our systems or how you use the POS or any of that. It's how you treat people. And part of that is radical candor, and it's how you balance care and challenge. I have way too much care and I have a lot of challenge, but people are people and they learn at different rates, and they're they're human beings. Like they don't learn the same way that I do. You know, they might not pick up things as quickly as I do, or sometimes as slowly as I do. Like they might pick up things quicker than me, right? So whenever you have high care and high challenge, this is a 2x2 matrix. It's super easy to understand, right? So high care and high challenge, you're like, dude, that's the sweet spot. That's where we need to be. You know, I'm treating you well. I'm forcing you to grow. Like I'm getting you out of your comfort zone, right? We're all learning things. We're getting better. We're happy. But then when the results stop coming in, I tend to decrease the challenge to try to give you that time to kind of make that up, right? But when you decrease the challenge, now you have high care, low challenge. And then now you're in this, what she calls ruinous empathy quadrant, which isn't the worst quadrant to have. And I've found that most of my managers today are in that quadrant. I hire people with like great core values. They care a lot, but they don't push hard enough. Right? They just let people get away with things. So the next thing that happens is you stop caring about that person. So now you don't challenge this person. Now you don't care about this person, which is the worst quadrant to be in. Manipulative insincerity is the quadrant that she calls it. And I know that if I ever get into that bottom left quadrant, I have to do something to get rid of you, because I will never go low care, high challenge, which is, I think it's like obnoxious aggression or something like that. Right. When you're just a dick or an a-hole.
Right.
I will not let you take me out of like who I am, right? Like that's not my personality. But I know that if I don't do something in this bottom left quadrant, I have to increase that care and I have to increase that challenge. But you have to be willing to receive that as well.
Yes.
So, but if you aren't, then I know we're not a good fit.
It's not going to work. And then there's also, you know, we all read these books and we all take bits and pieces that we like, right? So one that I love I don't want to say play on what because it's very different, but when you merge the two, it's like, oh, okay, you're talking about reducing challenge. So I love circle of influence, circle of concern.
Ooh.
So your circle of influence is your job, right? Mm-hmm. Your circle of influence is what you control, what you influence, and your circle of influence is here. And if you're living outside in this circle of concern, your circle of influence is going to reduce because you're not getting your damn job done.
Yeah.
So if you want your circle of influence to grow, then high challenge, high care.
Yes.
You know, you've got to, here's the expectation, here's the challenge, this is your circle of influence. Once you master this and you're killing it on all cylinders, then something else will be added to your plate. I'm going to give you an example. I can't believe I'm going to say this. So I'm going to give you an example.
Say it.
So we're rolling out a new menu. Fall menu. So Patrick, you know, he's just crazy talented and
just won People's Choice at Oktoberfest.
Yes, and we're trying to. Ruffino's has been around for 25 years. A lot has stayed the same, and you just can't stay the same because our world's moving quickly. You can't
stay the same for too long.
Right. So Patrick has been doing a lot of menu innovation, fresh, forward thinking, that kind of stuff. Not major changes because we do. Weekly specials, which is where our chefs get to play. But there's some items on the menu that need to go or need to be refreshed or whatever. We're refreshing desserts. And sharing information with managers because we should. There was a discussion at a directional 2 weeks ago where we got really off topic about why a certain dessert should not be removed from the menu.
Okay.
And I was like, no, it's gone. Why'd you even dive into that? You went way off the rails, and you being Patrick, got very frustrated because everybody was their feedback. That's their circle of concern. Let's talk about what's not happening at the restaurant right now that needs to happen. That's their circle of influence. And you tell these people do this, that, and the other, then maybe that circle will grow, and then your input on a dessert, on this one very specific dessert, maybe, but by the way, the dessert is not, we don't sell it. It's not that very good, whatever. We are moving forward. So they got buried in this concern, and their influence was not getting done this week, so to speak. And I think when you do visuals with people, so you know the different learning styles, so you've got to hit all three learning styles. So when you do the visual and you talk and you show and you give examples, they're like, okay, I see where I went off the rails. High challenge, high care. Don't reduce the challenge. Just live.
Yes.
This is your circle of influence.
I loved how you just merged those two things.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. You got to, because sometimes those quadrant things, I get like really in my head going, wait a minute. What do you mean care too much? What do you mean? And you got to talk yourself off the cliff because your head goes in crazy places. So when you take these pieces of all these things that we love and learn, or something that grabs, speaks to you, and you kind of merge them all together to have your own method of, it's like, okay, it makes sense to me now.
I love that. Wow. Okay. So
by the way, when I first started learning about circle of influence, circle of concern, I thought it should have been the other way around. And no one could explain to me why. It wasn't my concern. It was what I influenced. And then all of a sudden a light bulb went off, like, oh, I get it. And so that's probably why I latch onto that one, because it's real simple. And you can do that with anybody, right? Where when you get to this quadrant system, you can get with your busboy and say, here's your circle of influence. You don't need to be going telling the chef that I'm going to show you how to make this burger better. Here's your circle of influence. I don't want to say dumbs it down, but I love to dumb things down. Keep it simple.
I'm the type of person, I can be as complex as you want, but you get so lost in complexity. And the more simplified you make something, the easier it is to understand where you're actually trying to head. The book, The One Thing, I have that like probably 3 copies in this office right now. And I reread it probably 2 times a year.
Yeah.
I just finished it again a few weeks ago, just to remind myself what I'm trying to focus on, what I'm trying to do, because I try to worry about way too many things, and it's so difficult. Like, my circle of influence needs to be here,
right?
But I'm living right here sometimes, and like no one pulls you in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm lucky enough. My wife does it. My partners do it. Like, I have good friends, and now I have
our people.
I was about to say I couldn't figure out a term for that. We probably need like a group nickname or something, like you can't just say like the LRA, I don't really, I appreciate everything that they do, but the LRA isn't why I'm doing the LRA.
Right,
that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. It's so much more. You and I are trying to say the same thing and just can't put words to it.
I don't want to say something in the wrong way and like make, like I'm not trying to say anything bad about it, but what we have, I'm trying to make people understand how special it is.
Yes.
Right?
It really is. They're my people. Brad Watts. John and I go to Fête Rouge, and Brad and I have gotten very close, and I was like, John, I want you to meet Brad Watts. And Brad, goes right in. Hey, John, I'm Brad Watts. I'm the asshole in Megan's life. And John goes, well, good. I'm glad now she has an asshole at home and an asshole at work. I was like, this is fantastic. Like, okay, well, there you go.
Brad's so funny. I love that dude.
But those are our people. That's our, they're my confidants. It's my trust. They're my let loose. They're my, I can be 100% myself and not be scared, and I can be vulnerable.
I'm not worried about anyone judging me.
No,
because I say some weird
judgment.
stuff.
Well,
I do,
and we all do, but and you throw Mickey Freiberg in, and there's some weird stuff that
I joke with him all the time. I've learned so much from him.
Yes,
just because he says exactly what he thinks. Like, he does not
hold back.
But he means so well, and he cares so much. And he's like, dude, but sometimes the things he says, I'm like, bro, like, how did you say that?
Yeah. And get away with it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to learn how you did that. I think that's awesome.
I think some of that comes with age also.
Probably.
I'm not calling Mickey old, although, I was called old the other day. But, and then the other thing, and I don't want to say this is more of a female thing than a male thing, but, women, we just like, what if, go, where men can cut things off better than women can. I took my daughter to this doctor, a Chinese medicine doctor, and he's like, Molly, I want to teach you.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, I want to teach you the 3 most important things you need to know. I don't care. And I thought, what?
Yes.
I don't care about what I can't control. I don't care about what happened yesterday because I'm only looking forward. I'm not looking back. I mean, we woke up this morning, new day, go for it. And, I was sitting on the outside listening to, she's 23, she's an adult. She just asked me to come along sometimes, right?
How to do life right now.
Right. And I thought, damn it, I need to learn that. I don't care. Don't hold it all in. I don't care. So sometimes when I get worked up and I can't, who do I call? Brad. I call you. We sit in an LRA board meeting or chapter meeting or committee meeting, and we all just go off topic and just share. And it's like, oh gosh, I'm not the only one that's going through this. And it feels good. And then we share ideas because you know what? We want everybody to be successful. This isn't, and I think that's what's so cool about this hospitality industry is, yes, it's competition, but we love competition. And we want the competition to be, that's why it hurt. I mean, yes, it hurt me personally that Outback closed because it was our restaurant and I worked there and I opened up that store. But it's the hospitality industry community right now. It's like, we don't want to see that.
No, it sucks so bad when that's like the worst news. It's like someone just died.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like, I hate hearing that now. And I've got a bunch of people that call me and they're like, hey, like this, that, and the other. I'm not gonna say anything, but everyone's kind of going through their own thing right now, and they're struggling. And I want to say it's like through no fault of their own. Obviously we can all affect change and like the change that we want to see in our businesses. But there's just some things that you just can't. And like the faster you learn the lessons, the faster you're going to be able to overcome these things. And I've never seen this business be this bad. I mean, I've only been in it for maybe 20 years probably now, from when I was working for someone else, and I've never seen it this bad. And I started my business in 2010 when right after 2008, so like I remember every day going into the restaurant in Hammond and Trent would walk in and say, are we going to make it? And I was like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. And what that taught us was, how do we learn the things that we need to do to get better during this time? And then we didn't think about the future at this point. At this point, we were just like, dude, one day at a time.
Yes.
And then looking back on it now, we were so much stronger when things got better. So now, even though times are pretty tough right now for this business, if we get better, which is what these podcasts are doing for me, I'm sure for the guests that come on too, is when we get better, when times get better, I can't really use the word better too many times, right? Better.
Right.
When we get better now, we're going to be so much better off when times
aren't so hard.
Yes.
Okay, so you just said this is the worst time for this industry. Well, we all just said that through COVID.
Yes.
Right? And
then we came through that one.
And we came out stronger than ever. No, it wasn't luck.
It definitely wasn't luck.
It was hard work. It was commitment. It was passion. And it was working together. Not my little Ruffino's team. It was all of us working together. Unfortunately, you weren't with us. I wish you would have been, because holy cow, that would have been phenomenal. But there was a group of local restaurateurs, not the big boys, just the independents. And we got together once a week, and it was like, what the hell are we doing? And then it was PPP, and how do you do this? And oh my God, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. And you know what? We made it.
Yes.
And for us specifically, so funny, knowing that I worked at a steakhouse for 17 and a half years, and now I'm at Ruffino's. But when we shut down, Ruffin's like, what are we going to do? I said, well, we are going to turn this business and we're going to become a to-go business. Oh, but Megan, steaks don't travel to go. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I was very involved in curbside takeaway for Outback and had the pilot program in Louisiana. And that's all we did.
I beg to differ. Yeah.
It was 25% of our sales at Outback were to-go food, and we were a steakhouse. Don't tell me it doesn't work. But we changed the business of Ruffino's. Just like everybody else did.
You had to pivot, yeah.
You had to pivot. And my goal was, of course, we laid off all our hourly employees, right? My goal was, if I could just pay our managers, yes, we needed to pay our food purveyors. Yes, we need to keep the lights off, but everything else can be, we're all on this boat together. Everyone's trying to figure this out. And when I say all of us, I don't mean just the restaurant business. I mean the utility company, the world, the whole world, right? We're all in this. And so everybody's having to give a little bit more and have grace. And so if I could just pay the managers, that would be success. And we did. And then when we opened back up, we were making more money, not because the sales were there. So Ruffino still only sits at 75% capacity because we never went back to 100% because we're providing better service, better returns. Employees are making more money. It just made sense, right, from a business model. But we were making more money because we were making smarter choices. So it was a growth opportunity for us. And Lafayette was Lafayette. Baton Rouge was Baton Rouge. Our Highland Road and catering was catering. And finally, we were one team.
Oh.
It wasn't like that. Now, I only started with Ruffino's in 2018. So this was just 2 years in. And, Ruffino's was going through a lot of changes with partnerships and that kind of stuff. So this was it was phenomenal. Unfortunately, COVID was phenomenal for us. But the same thing's going to happen to us right now.
Yes, I agree with.
And I don't, when I say the strong will survive, I don't mean we want the weak ones to go away. What I mean is those ones that are struggling, we need to pick up and help. And because that's just what we do. It's who we are.
It's hospitality.
It's hospitality, right? So we're going to help them, encourage, do whatever we can to make sure we all make it through whatever the hell's going on right now.
I love that.
I mean, we know what's going on, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense, right?
It doesn't. It's
never been this hard.
Sense. I talked to a table literally yesterday, and I was like, I appreciate you coming in. We talked for, I talk a lot, so probably at least 10 minutes before they were telling me, and they're like, thank you so much for coming over. It means so much. We only get to go out to eat once a month, when we get paid at the beginning of the month. But she said, luckily we got paid early this month because the holidays are coming, right? And it's just, I didn't say anything to her like, oh my God, that's terrible. But in my head, I was like, how many people are going through the exact same thing right now? It just so happened that I was talking to them for long enough that they felt comfortable to say that. Yeah. But you're not going to tell a stranger this. Like, how are you going to figure this out? Right. And I know, because I'm not a hermit, right. I have a lot of friends who are going through a lot of things too, business owners who are going through a lot of things, and no one knows why right now. Yeah. It's just, I don't know why. Like, you can always say, people don't have as much money as they used to have, or things are more expensive, or this and that. I just don't know if that's the only reason.
Right.
It feels like there's something bigger behind it. Feels like there's something
bigger behind it. Yeah, I agree with you.
But I don't know what it is.
I don't know either. But this too shall pass.
It always does.
My mom.
Everything is cyclical.
Yep. My mom grew up in Lafayette, and the oil crash. I don't even know how old I was, but it was bad. And my mom said, if we can get through this, we can get through anything.
I love that saying, by the way.
We can get through anything. And I'll be damned. Lafayette, Louisiana got through it. Everybody. Yes, there was fallout. Unfortunately.
Collateral damage, if you want to call it that.
Collateral damage. But this too shall pass. We just have to grind it out. And I think we grind it out together.
That's what I've learned. I didn't get to meet you before the COVID, at the beginning of COVID, but it was probably 2-3 years after COVID that that's when I started, I'm not going to call it depressed, but that's when I was like, I need more help than this. Like, I don't know what we're doing is working, because like profitability wise, we know how to make numbers work. Right. It's just math, right?
Right.
But there's more to owning a business than just the numbers. The numbers is the lifeblood of a business, right. But how you feel from day to day. If I'm not at 100%, I can't give to anybody, right? Like, I can't pour from an empty pitcher, you know? And that was when I didn't even know what was happening. I was on Facebook, maybe I was like Googling like restaurant groups, and like who could I join, and like who could I talk to? And then it just so happened the LRA had like a social at Solu. And then
yes, that's where I met you the first time. That's right. I remember.
That was the one. I went by myself because, You know, like I didn't know what else to do. I went by myself, you know, I just showed up. I met Brittany there, met Shannon, I met you, I met a whole bunch of people, Aaron. And then I'd already known Stephen Hightower from, I don't know when and where, but we had already been like, because I know his brother Brian. We went to Catholic High together. So somehow I knew, I know how I know Stephen. I knew Stephen from City Pork because my wife is Chase Lyons' first cousin.
That's right.
So that's
I forgot about that. That's right.
So that's how I know Stephen. And I was just hoping to run into him because then I would know somebody.
Right.
But then I ran into like John DeFrancis, and he's all, you know, he's super big in Hammond and through like Cisco, and like I think he's with S&W now. So I was like, oh, there's two people that I know, but that's really it. And then for some reason, well, I don't know. It's not even some reason. So I drank probably a few drinks, and then someone said,
what we tend to do.
Yeah. And then they're like, you want to go to Mid-City Daiquiris? And I was like, dude, why not? You know? And then from there, I was like, these are really cool people. And then from there, it's kind of, like I say, I was hooked. But I was like, I need this. Like I really needed this to have the right circle of people around me.
Right.
And I've never been that person before. Once again, I've been behind the scenes, super introvert. You know, like you probably couldn't tell meeting me, right?
I was going to say, you're an introvert?
I'm a big introvert.
Holy cow.
I can turn it on and off though. So I'm not like a debilitating, you know, type of introvert. Ambivert is probably a better term for me, right? I can flex between the two. I used to call it like a work persona, because whenever when we first started, when we first opened this business, I had to talk to people.
Right.
Before I was lucky. Trent was in the front, I was in the back, and I was like, dealer, just me cook food for people, and then we started getting a staff, and then I was like, well, my job's not to cook anymore. Now my job is to, like take care of these guests, and like, what does that mean? And then like, I'm super scared, right? I'm like, oh my God, like I know how to talk to people too.
You were forced to do something that was uncomfortable.
And I grew from it.
And you grew from it.
And which is the next step of what I'm doing right now is my saying now is what got me here won't get me there.
Yep.
That's
right.
It's just stages of life. I'm getting better at what I do. You got to reach that next level, that next echelon of who you want to be. And I've probably a few years ago, I told Trent, I was like, everything that a little JP ever dreamed about, I've already accomplished. I've crushed every goal that I ever put in front of me. And now I realize I dreamed way too small. On the side of the building in Harrell's Ferry, it says dream big now.
Dream big. I worked for another company called Grub Burger Bar for a while. It was a bunch of Outback people that started it. And the mantra or the dream was, dream big, dream so big it scares you. Mm-hmm. It's got to scare you.
It does.
So yes, you dream too small if you accomplish all, but
I did.
Dream big, and it's got to be so big that it scares you.
I love that. So my parents came from Vietnam with nothing, right? So growing up, like education was the biggest thing for them. Mm-hmm. Was I went to Catholic schools and we couldn't afford it. That was the most important thing for them. Is to surround myself with the same type of people. Like, I hate to say it, like Louisiana public schools aren't that great.
No.
They never were really. I don't know if they're better now.
Especially in the South.
Yeah.
They're better up north, but
back when I was younger, for sure they were not.
Right.
So my parents, knowing where they wanted me to be in life, I went to Our Lady of Mercy, went to Catholic High, went to Loyola for my first year. Then I went back to LSU, and then I got my MBA from Southeastern. Which is how I ended up at Hammond.
Right.
So, but everything that I said I wanted, I have now. And now I realize that that's not what I truly wanted in life. It's nice to have, don't get me wrong. Like, security is so nice, right?
Right.
But now I've found like my new purpose in life is to help as many people as I can. And once again, it's not a one-to-one transaction. Like I'm not going to help you today and like I'm going to make money today, right? But eventually it all comes back around because that's how the pattern of my life has always gone. And through the LRA now, it's going to be so awesome because through this, just talking to other restaurant owners, like chefs when they come in here, like all of this, I've been able to just like listen, and then kind of guide at the same time without telling you what to do. Cause like, dude, everybody's different. Like every business is different. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you the things that I've done, the mistakes that I've made.
You could plant small seeds.
I can. The things that have worked for me. Right. So, are we ready? Dude, yeah, I talk forever, but I fucking love this stuff.
I could too. What's cool is when you're like-minded, it's just so easy to talk about it.
It's so easy.
And when you love what you do, I love what I do. I love what I do. When you love what you do, it's just so easy to talk to somebody else that loves what they do.
It's not an act, because you know when someone, they're just in it for the paycheck. You hear that term all the time. I'm not here for the paycheck.
No, and I got out of this business for 18 months, maybe 2 years, maybe not quite that long. Anyway, now I was working because I need that. If I don't have, I don't want to say if I don't have purpose, I have a lot of purpose. I've got 3 rock star children and, a great marriage, whatever. But I've got to be productive every day, or I'm not productive at all. Like I won't do anything. So I was helping.
I know that feeling. Yeah. I'm all or nothing. Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm either like all this way or like, bro, if I'm, I understand that.
I was helping 2 construction companies put together some business practices. And I mean, I'm good at it. Whatever. And finally, John came to me one day and said, please, I know you traveled a lot and I know you thought it was not fair and all, but you have to go back and do what you do, because you're not good for me, you're not good for the kids, and you sure as hell aren't good for yourself. Go back and be crazy. I was like, oh, yay! So I jumped back in.
We talk about that all the time. If you're not happy, you can't make someone else happy.
Yeah, right.
And because when we do interviews, I don't really ask you what you've done and like, do you understand what a P&L is? I ask you about your family, your hobbies.
Right.
I want to know that outside of these 4 walls, you're happy. Because if you're happy, you can now make my team happy.
Yes.
Right? Because I can't make you happy. There's nothing that I can't do that for you. You kind of have to do that. I can teach you all the skills, the mechanics, but you got to come with the passion, the commitment, the want, the fun, the want. Yeah. So I was, Gino Wickman, GWC. I stole that from him, and because I focus on that a lot, because everyone understands the job, the get it part. Everyone, if you find the right people, they're probably capable of doing it, right? But do they want to do it? Do they want to do it? Because if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. No. We call it, decision making. It's a choice. People act like things just happen to you. No, you chose this outcome through all of the small decisions that you've made. And then all of a sudden at the end, you're like, this is unfair. You're like, no. I chose to eat that full king cake and not work out. You know what I mean? Like, I chose all of these things in the moment because it was easy. Right. I have the saying now that I do hard things because it makes me want to do more hard things, right? Because if I start doing easy things, I'll do more easy things because it's such a slippery slope, but when I do hard things, it makes you want to do more hard things. And not only hard, but the things that scare you. It has to scare you. If it scares you and you push yourself to do it, you're like, whoa. I could do it. I did that. And I'm still here myself. And I'm okay. And I pushed through and I can do that next time, not be scared anymore. Do things that you're afraid of doing. Yeah. I love that because I have people to push me to do that. Because when you're by yourself and you're in your own head, we're so good at rationalizing. Oh yeah. Like this is why we don't do this. Like it's a survival mechanism. Like we're so good at it. But then when someone says, "What's the worst that could happen?" You're like, "What is the worst that could happen? What's the worst?" I just fail. Or you. And failing's good. Failing is. I'm the only where I am today because of all of the mistakes and failures I've had. Yes. Yeah. Because I don't let it stop. You get crazy in your head, and all the what ifs, and what if I did this, and then you've created this monster that was never there. No. That was never there. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. Only the present. But somehow we live in both of those other ones, right? Like it's so crazy. You were talking about that Chinese medicine doctor. Yeah. I probably didn't even say that right. You said. Well, I mean, that's what Chinese medicine doctor. Right. But I read something today. It was. I talk to myself a lot, verbally. I answer myself. When I used to say like, it's okay to talk to yourself, just don't answer yourself. I do both. I do both. I do both of those things. And I don't think I'm crazy. I mean, I'm sure my wife would probably say something different, right? But I don't think I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. No, anyway. Yeah. I'm not asylum crazy. I am off for sure. But they were saying that when you say things out loud, your body feels it, right? So if you don't verbalize it, I forgot the actual term for it, but it shifts you from like that whole like anxiety part of your brain to like the reasoning part of your brain. And I was like, so I'll tell you this. I tell people all the time this one thing, and it usually helps people a lot. You procrastinate because you're not afraid of doing the thing you're afraid of how that thing is going to make you feel. Mm-hmm. So that's why you procrastinate. You don't do it because like, it's a tough thing to do or whatever. It's like, dude, I don't want to feel that thing. But when you can label that feeling, and then usually when I have like crazy anxiety or something and I've got, stress that just piles up, and then I don't, that feeling. I know that feeling,
I'm
right?
sitting here saying, I know exactly. And I have to talk myself out of it.
Mm-hmm. So I journal now, but I don't journal every day. So it's not like a daily thing, but I journal when I need to journal. Mm-hmm. And then usually the very first question that I have to physically write down is, what are you so afraid of? When I write down that question, 9.9 times out of 10, I'm good now.
Right. Yeah.
But do you know how long it takes me to write that down though? It probably takes like weeks probably of me like internalizing everything that could go wrong.
What's the worst thing? Yes. Yep. My youngest son he still does. I mean, I don't think you ever get rid of it, but you just learn how to cope with it. But at a younger age, had lots of anxiety. What ifs? Always asking questions. What would throw up every morning before school. And we did everything. You name it, we did it except medication because I just knew.
I don't really believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe medication works. I get it, but I feel like it's a cop out.
Yeah. In this scenario, I agree with you. I think. We put dream catchers in windows. We put rosaries under beds. We did essential oils. We did everything. We found things that he could do, something with a pencil that he could, whatever. And one of the things that he did every day when he got home that I now do, because I thought, holy cow, why am I not doing this? Is before he went to bed, he wrote down everything he was grateful for that day.
Ooh, yes.
And it could have been he had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in his lunchbox. Mm-hmm. It didn't matter because that's how young he was. But what were you grateful for today? And it's amazing how he went to bed calm, slept through the night, didn't have those night terrors, and he'd wait. And eventually it was great. Every night before I go to sleep, and I'm a night owl, so like rolling in bed at 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm like, okay, what was I grateful for today? And then the next morning I wake up and I just sit by myself for like 10 minutes. I don't want to say meditate, but I do some breathing and I just say, thank you, sweet Jesus, for letting me be here today and for all the great things we have and the people that I'm surrounded by. Because like we were talking about, this business is hard right now. And if we're not grateful for what we have, then
what are we doing this for?
What are we doing this for? So it calms that craziness in my head of the what ifs and that what's going to happen. And no. This is what we have you have a lot to be grateful for. And then in the morning, I just say, thank you for everything I have. We have, my company has, my friends have. And then it's like, okay, I can conquer this day.
I feel very lucky. I could use the term blessed, but lucky is probably the term that I use the most, because until I had kids, it was a lot harder to think of what I was grateful for. Obviously you knew what you had, but when you see these kids in the morning and they wake up and they're just like playing with you and there's just all smiles and no worries in the world.
No worries in the world. They're not as corrupt as we are. Yeah.
And I find that most of my gratitude, they're not posts, but so in my Notion, I created a system that like kind of tracks my brain stuff. I can brain dump and then kind of process it whenever I have the time, right? So your brain's for having ideas, not for storing ideas. So I use my phone as a second brain type of deal.
Yeah.
So I
dump your brain.
Exactly. I just got to get it out.
Drain your brain is what I usually say.
Oh, nice.
Drain your brain.
I always say brain dump, but like I just have to get it out, and then I don't have to care about it again until it's time to care about it again.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're it's always in the back of your head. I have I have so many ways that I live by, and but open loops. The more open loops I have, the more stressed out I am.
Oh yes, for
sure.
So
I have to keep closing loops, or they're just always in the back of your head. And then like, just because you don't actively think about it doesn't mean it doesn't physically drain you. Right. So my partner Trent was talking, me, him and Pat were talking at a coffee shop this week. And I always talk about like a battery, like an energy thing, right? Like I only have so much energy for this certain amount, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Trent picked up a cup and he was talking about the things that our managers, circle of influence and circle of concern, actually, if you think about it. So he had this cup and he was like, this cup, you can only fill this cup to the max, right? Before it starts to overflow. Right. So there's only so much you could put in this cup. So everyone's life and their job, and if we just talk about the job itself, right, from a manager's point of view, your job fits in this cup. But when you start dumping things in there that aren't part of your job, you could only do so much. You're only filled up to, let's make it 16 ounces, whatever, right? You can only fill it up to so much. And then if you fill it up with things that aren't important or things that aren't your problem or things that you can't control, then the things that you do need to do, where do they go?
Where do they go?
That's what causes that overwhelmed feeling for everybody, because people are good down to their core. I firmly believe that.
Oh, I agree also. And you talked about, dumping your brain, but there's some things I'm very good with at my age with the digital world. Like I do things electronically, but there's one thing that I have to physically do, and that is my checklist. I have to put it on paper. Mm-hmm. And even if it's not to get done today, if it's get done, I need it there. And it's graph paper. It's so old school, but it's just what it is. Trudy Cooper told me one day, because at Outback, the job we had was really a thankless job, you know, like you, and going in and so she would always say, you need to recognize what you accomplish every day so you can feel successful. So she made us write down what we did. And it could have been, I impacted one host today, she's opening up the door, you know, but you need to know that. So you're talking about closing loops. My thing is triangles, and I got to color in that triangle. So instead of doing numbers, I put a triangle and list and once I color in that triangle, it's like,
I know what you're talking about.
This feels so good. Got that done.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, it's done. That whole triangle's colored in, and I accomplished, you know, yeah.
Where did you learn that from? Because I know where I got my thing. We were at the Queen, and we stayed a little later. It was you, Sean, me, Brittany. I can't remember who else was there. I think that was just it. And then we were talking about how overwhelming our lives are. And then like, I'm very digital. Once again, brain dump, everything that I think that I have to remember, boom, goes in my phone, right? It goes in my Notion. But every single morning, I write it down on a piece of paper, and then I draw a square. I've done it to where you buy like templates and stuff.
Right. No, you gotta draw it.
Not the same.
Right.
So I have to draw a square next to every single item. So the act of finishing a job, crossing it out and filling in that square, that dopamine hit.
Good,
I
right?
know.
Yes.
It is so good, and it makes you want to do more. When you fill out one, you want to fill out the next one.
Right.
But you can't fill your list up too big for every day, or you won't accomplish it.
That's right.
Right? So it has to be a max of 5 things.
Yep.
So I usually have 5 tasks that I need to do, and then I'll probably put like my appointments, like the times that I need to be places, right?
Right.
And then that goes on a separate side. I did have a friend of ours, Sheridan Faye. She has a Red Stick Financial, and like she has these templates already built that she gives out to clients. So I stole a big stack from her, and I've been using that. But I find that I don't use her squares or her things.
Right.
You know, I just end up writing all over the whole thing. So I just went back to a yellow memo paper, like a notebook. You were talking about old school.
Right. But mine's graph paper. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say I don't write on the lines, but like my triangle's not even perfect in the square. I just like the graph paper for some reason. I don't know why.
My brain will never allow me to stay within the lines.
Yes.
So I draw on top of lines every single time.
Me too.
I wish, because I just, that's why I was reaching for my phone, because I deleted all those pictures just because I have not enough space. But I'll send him my to-do list in the morning, and I'll be like, send me your to-do list.
Yeah.
Right? Show me what you're working on today. It's an accountability thing too.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, when you own your own business, who's going to hold you accountable?
Who's going to hold accountable? Right.
You know, like the bank, basically, right? Their money. And you're like, dude, that's not a good enough motivator. No. You know, like, because you can always do just enough to keep the lights on. And you're like, dude, that's not what life's all about, doing just enough. But God, all these sayings I have, like good enough is not good enough.
Well, but
you know?
JP, I'm sure other businesses have all these sayings also, but
they're just different terms.
They're just different terms. Yeah. But I think this is a people development business disguised as a restaurant, right? Or disguised as a hotel, or disguised as a bar. I mean, it really is at the end of the day. And when you're dealing with people and all the different learning styles, it's those phrases that you grab a hold of, and it's like, oh, okay, well, circle of influence, circle. Like, you can just say circle of influence, circle of concern. Everyone goes, whoa, okay, I need to step right back in line real quick, or what's done to you. So all these phrases you're talking about, they trigger.
If you constantly say it, it's a methodology. It's culture.
Kind with people, tough with results. Oh, I know what that means. You know, once it becomes a part of you, and that's the piece. That's the thing with culture, right? It needs to be second nature.
Yes.
And the only way it becomes second nature is by teaching that culture, verbalizing it, acting it out, recognizing it. And it's not the formal words, but it's the act or the verbalizing those things. And verbalizing it is those little catchphrases and then all of a sudden it's how you naturally, it's in your heart. It's part of your being, and you naturally react that way. So I love all the.
I call them rules for my life, because no one tells me what to do.
Right.
Trent said that to somebody one day. He said, the best part about being your own boss is no one tells you what to do. And the worst part about being your own boss is no one tells you what to do. Because at sometimes you just want someone to tell you what to do. Right. When I come home, like, my wife will ask me something, I'll be like, I don't. She used to be like, what, you don't have an opinion? I was like, I make decisions all day long. Like, you just tell me what to do.
Right.
Like, tell me where to be. Like, when she booked the trip to New York, I didn't know who was going. She just put the event in our calendar, so I knew when to be ready. I knew not to, schedule things around that whole time. I didn't know where we were going to go eat. I didn't know what I was going to wear. I knew nothing. And I loved it. Yes. I absolutely loved it.
My favorite thing to do, and it happened recently, well, I say recently, beginning of the summer, when we had a lot of employees graduating. Or not only did we have employees graduating, but we had siblings of employees graduating that both worked in the restaurant. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So Howard was a little stressed a couple of days. He's like, I just need someone to seat tables. I'm like, oh, can I come seat tables? He's like, what? Like, I can seat guests. I can seat guests all day long. I loved it, because all I had to do was talk to people.
One job.
And
one singular focus.
And just say, have an amazing experience. It was like, someone was telling me what to do. I didn't have to make any decisions. And it was a feel-good shift for me.
That's why I like washing dishes. I don't get to do it very often.
Well, but I think everybody should wash dishes, because
I'm so good at it.
Well, I love it. I think everybody should wash dishes for a couple reasons. One, it is so methodical. It's almost like a form of meditation. And then nobody talks to you. Everybody leaves you alone. But the other thing is, people are also throwing shit at you. And if I get you back there, you're like, whoa, I'm never going to throw that ramekin in that bus tub like that again, because it's splashing water all over JP. You know what I mean? Like, you're on the other side, and you realize how critical that role is. And all of a sudden, everybody's more, like I always say, well, we're in the dish room. It's time to go back to kindergarten. Shapes and sizes, stack, never playing blocks, whatever. But if you put someone in that dish pit and they see what a dishwasher goes through, all of a sudden you're like,
they treat them better.
Yeah, I need to be a little bit nicer to these guys.
People who've never done that before, you can tell they just treat them like garbage sometimes. And you're like, bro, like, why?
Tim Gannon, I love this about Tim. When we would do openings, every once in a while he would show up to do the wine seminar, which was so awesome. And he was just a big kid, right? And people were like on edge that he was coming, and he would walk through the front door and he would wave, and we'd all be sitting around the bar, the entire staff, the front of the house staff, and he'd walk straight to the back of the house to the dishwasher. And I'll never forget one of the openings I did, and he came. I was so excited he was coming, and he came in, he waved, I waved. I knew exactly what he was doing, But everyone said, he didn't come talk to you first. I'm like, oh, no. I know exactly where he's going. He's going to the most important person in this building. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's going to find the JVP? No, the JVP's right next to me. He's going to find that dishwasher because without him, we're nothing. Mm-hmm. And those dishwashers would come unglued that Tim Gannon, one of the founders of Outback, went and spoke to them first.
I love that. Because there's no lowly position.
No,
there's zero. None. Like everybody's position is critical. Very important. You know, like nobody can, like no server is going to make money if you don't have any plates.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like building a puzzle and that one piece you're missing and you're like, oh, it's not complete. Well, you pull that dishwasher out, you pull that host out.
I'll tell you this.
It's not a pretty picture.
They appreciate that position so much more when the dishwasher calls out.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
When that dishwasher's not there, they're like, what is going on? Right. And you're like, who's going to do that? Right?
I think a dishwasher and a hostess are underappreciated.
100%. Yeah. I agree with you. They get, once again, it's things that you learn over time, but not to sound super vulgar or anything, but like everyone considers those as like bitch positions.
Yes.
And you're like, dude, those are the most important positions. That's for the host, the first and last person.
Controls the entire everything. Building.
And from the hospitality side, like it's like the guest. That's the first and last thing they see.
Yes.
Servers, dude, they can mess you up if they want to. Right? They'll be like, oh, I forgot to seat you.
Yes.
You know? Right. Or they'll overseat you.
If you, that host, it's got like 5 positions, right? You're a server, you're a server. Yes, you have many job duties, but that you're greeting, you're controlling the floor.
Pacing,
You're seating, you're running. You know what I mean? It's like, and hell, half the time they're busting the tables after anyway to get you seated quickly enough. You know what I mean? But I don't think people realize that. Like you said, they think it's the lowly positions and they're not. They're the critical positions. I've always, when you deal with the tip credit world, at Outback, hostesses were on tip share. And partners would say to me, well, I mean, I can't keep hostesses. They only blah, 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 blah. I'm like, pay them more. I can't pay them more. Yes, you can. If you have one person that wants to do nothing but host and she's a badass or he's a badass, freaking pay him so he doesn't go anywhere. Makes your life easier.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, you've got that dishwasher that's dependable and does a hell of a job. You're getting paid.
Yeah.
Keep them.
Like forever.
I've got one that doesn't want to do anything but dishwash and clean. Tried to promote him.
How awesome is that?
Tried to promote him, right? He's like, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, guess what? The restaurant is clean. The dishes are clean. He takes such pride in what he does. You're going to get paid for it.
Dude, 100%.
Yeah, you're it. You're my most important person right now.
When your restaurant starts to get dirty, you understand how important a person like that is.
Oh, yeah.
So how's it going so far? This is fun.
This is good.
I call it therapy for me.
Yeah. Well, I think it's definitely therapy.
I think that's what so it started off, like I told you before, like giving people content.
Right.
So what we do for other clients is we build that trust factor for people. And especially now, one video is not going to do it for you. It's going to be nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. You'll forget after a week, right? So old school clients will think that I just need one video and, like everyone's going to see it. No one's going to see that video.
Yeah.
But if you post a video a day, eventually enough people will see it.
Yeah.
So there's a 7-11-4 rule. I don't know if I told you about it, but you have to have, in order for someone to create that know, like, and trust, basically to get someone to buy from you, right? You have to have 11 different interactions with people that total 7 hours over 4 different locations within 90 days.
Oh, holy cow.
And that's a real thing. Like Google spent millions of dollars figuring this out. And I have no idea, but millions to figure this out because they wanted to figure out how long does it take before someone buys from you? Because they can track every single interaction, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they figured out. And you don't realize how, like your own patterns for social media. Like you don't follow someone right away when you see something cool,
Right.
You know?
Right.
How long do you have to see this person pop up on your algorithm before you go, oh, cool, I'll follow them. Right? Or before you go, oh, I know this person.
Right.
So for attorneys, we do a lot of work with attorneys and everybody wants to be Gordon, right? They're like, well, Gordon has all these billboards. That's why it works. And you're like, you forget the part where you get noticed from those billboards, but then how do you get known? The known part is what he's really good at.
Right.
The part where he comes on camera and talks to people, when you know about his family and his dog.
Yeah.
You know, like you feel like you know this person, but you don't always need a personal injury attorney. But when you do, who do you think about? Right. The guy that you think you know.
Yes.
No one knows this dude. He probably doesn't even take your case.
Right.
You know, but you feel like you know
feel
Gordon.
Like you know him. Right. And that's not from the billboard.
Nope, not at all. But that gets you noticed. You have to get known and then you can get paid.
Right.
So when we work with clients who understand that, it's super easy because then they go, 7 hours of content, dude, at least 7 hours of content. Which is why if you think like back in the day when you used to go on like spring break trips with people and like you were best friends for a year after that, right?
Yeah.
You spent so much time with this person over a bunch of different locations. You saw them in different like scenarios and whatnot. So that applies digitally as well. And that's a lot of content.
That is a lot of content.
7 hours of content before you get to know somebody.
Especially because you're just getting little snippets.
So how you get noticed is with that short form content. Like, so for S&W, I gave them 36 little snippets. So out of those 36, no one's going to see all of them.
Right.
You know, like I track my own analytics and there's certain like, sometimes I get 0 views. Sometimes I'll get like a 10,000 views. You know, it's like, how do you like which one's going to hit? Right. Yeah.
Right.
So, but the more you see me and the more you see my message is the same, the more we start to build that trust.
Yeah.
This is who JP is. Right. But what I really want right now is to recruit better talent. And I feel like this is starting to get me there. Right. Because if you sit down with me, Patrick says this all the time. I was like, dude, you're the closer, you know, like you can sell people on it. I mean, it's my business. It's what I do, right? It's what I love. And this is how I'm going to run my business and no one's going to tell me any different. And so he's like, you're the closer. And it's like, I don't think of it in those terms, but if I sit in front of somebody, you're going to work for me, right? If you come interview, I'm not going to lose you. Right. The only way I'm going to lose you is I can't afford you for whatever reason. Right. Because I know the size of my business. I'm like a small, medium business. Right. I'm not like huge. Like I can't afford a freaking $150,000 GM, you know? But what I can give you though, sometimes money can't buy that. Well, a lot of times money can't buy that.
I was going to say, wait a minute, don't discount that.
You know?
Right.
And I can pay you.
And for someone that's not money driven, that's more important.
Exactly. To me, I'm not money driven.
Yeah, I'm not.
So I want you to be a good person. I want to be happy when I come to work. I want to be fulfilled. I want to feel like I'm making a difference, you know, and those are the things that I can provide to the people that work for me. That's what we focus on. We don't focus on anything else. It's not always bottom line, you know. It's not really top line either, really. You know, it's kind of in the middle. It's like the people part of things. Like, are you happy to come to work?
Right.
Which I think I was talking to Patrick about that. Your Patrick. Is how I terminate people now. It used to be like, these are all the things you did wrong. You're not a good fit, blah, 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 right? You know, I wish you the best of luck, this and that, right? And you thought that was the right thing to do, and yet people still get really upset with you when that happens. My new way of like, we're sitting down, we're like, all right, so we've had all these conversations, you know, like this is what we said we were going to do, and this is when we said we were going to do it, and it just doesn't seem like you want to do that. It doesn't seem like you want to be here. It doesn't seem like you're happy. Right. So then when you start to ask the right questions of, you know, like, are you happy? Do you want to be here? Is this still something you want to do? Because you don't have to burn this bridge.
Right.
You know, like I can help you find a different place to work, even if it's not here. You know, like I can find something different for you. You just have to tell me.
Right.
Right. And then when you give them the control over whether or not they stay, they've always had the control. They just give it away. They don't feel like they do. Yeah. It's like people used to always say, like, I'm not forcing you to be here. But somehow they feel like you're forcing them to be here. And when you start to lay it out, like, you don't have to be here. You know, like you can do anything you want in this life. Be happy. Like what's going to make you happy? And then I find that when you end up parting ways, they don't leave bad reviews.
Yeah. Right.
Because usually that's what happens. This company doesn't care about you.
Right.
You know, like blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what? Like, can we go?
That's not even close.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's because they feel hurt, you know, like they're like, I took something away from you. I was like, but you didn't want it to begin with, you know? But now, like, this opens up the door for you for more opportunities for you to do something else that you will be happy with. Yeah. Not everyone's cut out for the restaurant business. We were talking about before, like, I'm a little crazy for being in here. Right. You know, like, I want to be here. Right. You know, like, I actually am thankful that this is the industry that I chose because it's different every day.
It's different every day. You cannot get bored.
No. And I get bored very easily. Yeah. If it starts to get too easy, you know, I get bored. Right. I like to master things and then I'll move on. Like skills. Like once I get the skills that to the level that I think I should have, I'm done. Like on to the next thing, on to the next project. But people constantly evolving, constantly changing. I had this realization probably a few years ago that like we're talking about millennials and like, you know, people don't understand them or they're bad people or whatever it is. They're not. They're just people.
Yeah, they're just people.
Every generation's been different. It's just how do you connect with this generation? Right. Like I don't even know what generation we're in now, like Gen Zs or whatever. Like they're not bad people. No. Right. Like you hear all these people talking about like the Gen Z stare and all of these things. And you're like, dude, they're so like overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And like no one's kind of guiding them to where they need to be. They feel lost. So of course they're going to be a little rebellious. Of course they're going to be, you know, whatever it is. And then but at the end of the day, when you connect with them, you're like, whoa, that was super cool. You know what I mean? Like they can teach you so much stuff.
Everybody can. Yes.
You know, and like, they just need a little bit of guidance. And like I said, I was lucky that I've had a lot of people in my life that have guided me places. And I didn't realize that until kind of recently in life that the people that come through my doors, like employee wise, are mostly in college, you know, like 18 to 22 probably. I didn't know anything at that age, but I thought I knew everything.
Absolutely.
You know, my job is to kind of guide you through life now.
Oh, I'm 18, I'm legal. Yeah. Or it's 21, whatever you want to call it, legal. But I'm going. No. And I didn't get married until I was 31. And I spent all of my 20s. I graduated at 23, which I know is older than most people do, but hey, that was my journey. And
I think I graduated at 23 too.
Okay, good.
I was 6 years in college.
Me too.
I took some semesters off to find myself.
Yes.
Find myself. Right. I partied.
Right. But those 20s working in this industry made me a very strong, confident, passionate, caring, hardworking person. And it's because this is a people development business. And traveling around the country and internationally, doing openings and learning different cultures, just within the United States, different cultures, but then the different cultures from country to country. And it's like, wow.
It's eye-opening.
It's eye-opening.
When you travel anywhere, you're like, oh my God. Yeah. Like it makes you happy to come home too.
Yes. No, it does. I opened up a restaurant in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And of course they speak Portuguese there. Yes, an Outback Steakhouse.
How cool was that?
It was very cool. I had a translator. I spoke like this much Spanish. And of course they could understand Spanish. I had I had 2 Spanish-speaking trainers that were from the United States. But they didn't always understand the Portuguese. So I had a translator. And there was this one trainer that was from Brazil that deer in the headlights the whole time. And I thought, she's either the wrong person to be training or she has no clue what I'm talking about. Yeah. And if she has no clue what I'm talking about, something's not translating. And then I started figuring out what my translator was saying, which was not what I was saying. Oh. So I had to figure out how to communicate with her non-verbally. She ended up being my best trainer. And we never said a word to one another.
Really?
Because I didn't understand her and she didn't understand me.
Wow.
Talk about a huge growth opportunity for me.
I want that.
It was so cool. I literally had to show her everything.
That's a cool challenge.
Literally had to show her everything. And then here's what was interesting. The restaurant was very busy, and it was, and the trainers worked for me. I was their boss. So even though I had trainers from Brazil and their bosses were there when they were working there, they didn't report to them, they reported to me. So when it came time to eat, I would sit them up at the bar because there was no place for anybody to eat. And there was a break room in the back because that was a cultural thing that all the businesses there had a break room because employees weren't allowed and you had to feed them and all that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, but the managing partner of that store came up to me and said, she can't sit there. And I said, what do you mean she can't sit there? And she said, your trainers can sit there, but my trainers have to sit in the back. And I said, you have trainers here? He's like, yes, all these people from Brazil are my trainers. I'm like, no. All these people from Brazil are my trainers. They work for me. Mm-hmm. And we all sit here together and eat, or none of us eat here. Oh, no. The American trainers can sit there, but I'm like, nope, this is not how we're going to play.
Yep.
And that's when everybody started realizing that Outback was just different, and the culture of Outback in the United States was going to permeate into these other countries because it was about taking care of people, and your employees were the most important things you had. So that it was, for me to stand up to that man and tell him that was huge for me, that fear, right? But it broke that ice. And then I had all those trainers, hook, line, and sinker, and I figured out how to communicate with them without saying a word.
That's how you get respect. Like, you know who you are.
It was amazing.
Respect, it's a weird word.
No, I know it's a weird word, but I know what you mean. Well, I mean, there's another word. There's not another word, is there?
I don't know. It's, I don't know.
I was going to say, it validated my role,
boundaries.
But that's not...
It's like, I don't know. It's like, to me, it's the type of person that stands up for what they believe in. And that type of person will always have respect.
Yeah.
Right or wrong.
I mean, respect's the word. It's definitely.
Like, agree with you or disagree with you. When I see a person like that, there's an immediate, like, you're real.
And that respect was earned, right? I guess that's where you're saying respect, that word, some people think respect comes with whatever.
A position or a title. Yeah, it doesn't.
And you and I are saying that was earn that respect. And right.
Because, like, you can respect the title, but you don't have to respect the person.
Correct.
Right? So when the person is respected, that's a completely different feeling, I feel.
Yeah.
But it still is respect.
Right.
But how you get it is
different.
It's real.
Right.
It's a real respect. Yes. I don't know. There's got to be a better word for that. But a real respect. A
couple weeks from now, we're going to be together in a meeting. We're going to go, wait, I got the word.
That's the word.
We're going to be like, holy cow, that's perfect.
Or we can make up our own word, probably.
We'll make up our own word.
We'll probably end up doing that too.
Yeah.
But I love that Outback had that culture just built in, and I'd never realized that.
It was phenomenal.
And like, that's what I'm trying to be, not corporate. But I mean, who knows? Maybe one day. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I love the whole mom and pop feel, but that how you treat people and like you were talking about all the best things about the business and then getting rid of all the parts that you hate. Like I used to call it chef mentality, where like, you had some egotistical person, like it's my way or no way, like I'm the best and this and that. You still see those. I feel like it's a lot fewer now, but you still see them around and you're like, dude, really? You know what I mean? Like people who talk down to dishwashers, those types of people. Like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't either. And again, you growing up in the Outback world, it really didn't make sense. And this was I left when there were 700 restaurants. Started at 74, 75 and left. But when we, as coordinators we were the storytellers, to care. And one of the stories we used to always say is when Chris, Tim, Bob, and Trudy came up with this document that was the culture piece, Bob Basham in his wisdom was like, this is it. And he folded it up and he was going to put it in a safety deposit box. And Trudy's like, wait a minute. If this is it, we need to share it with everybody. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, this is the secret to our success. It's not going to do us any good locked in a box. We need to share it, and we need to build a tool to teach people this culture. And like I said in the beginning, when we sat down and talked, that you don't know, you don't realize what you know until you're taken out of that. Mm-hmm. So when I left Outback and I would just naturally say something and people looked at me like I had three heads, I was like, wait, that's not normal.
Yeah, that's not an everyday thing.
This was normal. It was just really cool. And people say to me all the time, I wonder who the next Outback is. I wonder who the next Outback is. There'll be another Outback Steakhouse someday. There will. But right now, out in the universe, the United States and internationally, these old Outbackers have moved on to other things. And people always say, wow, how'd that happen? I don't know. We just had 4 badass, innovative people that were very passionate. And that passion is what led us to that success. Sticking with that passion, not letting anyone take them away from it. I saw Chris Sullivan, I guess it was a Maker's Mark bar in Kentucky. And I was up there doing a tour, Bourbon Country. And I saw him sitting there. And someone said, oh, that's Chris Sullivan over there. He used to work for Outback. I said, yes, I'm going to go over and say hi. You can't go say hi to him. I said, yes, I can. Like, Megan. So I went over there and I said, Chris, and he was with his new wife. And he goes, Megan Braniff. And I got married when I was at Outback, but I never changed my name until I left. And so he said, Megan Braniff, how are you? Gave me this big hug. And I thought, I hope everybody see me right now because you told me I couldn't go talk to him. And here he is giving me a hug. And he goes, how's John Klock doing? I said, great. How are the kids? Whatever. And I asked him, I said, Chris, the world of Outback has changed. How can you just sit here? And he said, Megan, my wildest dreams came true. My wildest dreams. We've always told everybody, dream big to where it scares you. You might just accomplish that. He said, I did. He said, and we were all part of that journey. We just need to be grateful we were there at that time and place. And I thought, there he goes again.
I love that. Yeah.
There he goes again. Dream big, make it scary. You might just accomplish it, but we're going to have a damn good time along the way and be very passionate about what we do and celebrate those successes.
I love that. I was going to tell you that earlier. There's a book that I'm reading right now called The Science of Scaling. I got it from Paul Spalita. He was telling me about it. Literally the thing that kind of like the backbone of that book is to set goals so impossibly big, and it's scary because you set goals that you think are achievable because once again, I already said it before, it's like I've accomplished everything I thought a little JP ever wanted, right? And now I know there's so much more that I can do, that I want to do, or that I can give, right? And I didn't dream big enough. And right now I'm learning how to dream bigger. And that's been a challenge because I don't know what that means yet, Well,
and here's the other thing. Your dream, your biggest dream, my biggest dream may make no sense to you. But it's mine.
I understand that, yeah.
And we had at Grub, we did this with a bunch of people, and my biggest dream was to be a good, faithful servant. And someone said, no, I'm not talking from a religious standpoint. Yeah. I'm talking about, because I am Catholic, but that's where they were going with it. But that wasn't it. I want to be a good and faithful servant. And what does that mean? Well, this hospitality industry, that's what it is, right? But what is a good and faithful servant? I want to impact people. I want somebody to say, man, I just loved her. Or, man, I am where I am because she gave me a little bit of herself. People used to always say, I want to be a service tech. How can I? Like, all right, I'm going to teach you how to take my job away from me. Well, what are you going to do? Don't worry about that.
Something else.
But if you want to be what I am doing, let me teach you, and you take this job away from me, and I will help you get there. And well, why would you ever do that? Because that's being a good, faithful servant. I
love that. It's the difference between have like an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset, right? It's
and being a good and faithful servant may not scare you. There's something that scares me.
What scares you?
About being good and faithful. Like that, being known as that. That kind of, it's like, wow, that's that's kind of cocky. That's kind of big in my mind, you know, to think that can be that. So that's what scares me is like that's to me, that's a big lofty goal.
So this isn't the part where I like fluff you up or anything, right. But there's so many people that I've talked to that have had such amazing things to say about you. Oh, wow. And this was before I knew you as well as I do now. And I feel like we're just starting to get to know each other even better now, right? But even before that, a year or two ago, right? All the people that would come up to me and tell me that's where they got the mama bear thing. I didn't call you that, but so like probably 3 or 4 people that not even from Ruffino's, right? Like, it's just like, that's what I think Savannah Casey said, that if she ever went to jail, she'd call you first.
Love that girl.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like how do y'all know each other? And like, how,
see, that scares me. Isn't that funny? And now you're seeing my insecurities, right?
Well, now that's a big responsibility to have.
It's a big responsibility.
It really is, because I'm sure I have a lot of people that I feel very responsible for, right? Like it's like a love, right?
Yes.
Not like a romantic love, but like
I know what you mean.
Care enough about you that I want the best for you.
Right.
And sometimes it could be a negative, like sometimes you get taken advantage of.
Well, it opens you up to getting hurt. And kindness is not a sign of weakness, but some people think it is.
It is, 100%.
But that hurt is also a growth opportunity for me.
It is. Anything that
nothing like
challenges
spinning everything
me,
and making it full circle. But
yeah. If things are going too well, I'm not getting better.
Yes, that's right.
Right? Like it has to be uncomfortable. That's where growth happens.
Right.
Like if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not challenging yourself just a little bit more, right? Then how are you going to get better? You're not going to become a better version of yourself.
No.
Doing the exact same thing every single day. Like, yeah, you might be great at this thing, but like life's a lot bigger than, cooking burgers for people.
Right.
Like once again, I feel like I'm just now starting to find my groove of the things that I'm able to do for people and how I can help other people and really just make you think a little bit differently.
Yes.
Right? Everyone that even today, like you've kind of challenged the way that I think already. I was like, what did I say before? It was like, like hard on standards, soft on people. And I was like, soft is the wrong word.
The wrong word.
But that has been what was in my brain.
Yeah.
Like kindness is something completely different than soft.
Yeah, very different.
And that one phrase alone has now probably shaped the rest of my life and everyone that's going to come in contact with me from here on out, So think about that ripple effect, right? You want to talk about responsibility, right? Like that. I think about if you help one person and that person helps one person and that person helps another person, right? I think about the impact that I've had over the last, you can talk your entire life, but let's just say in this business, how many people have I impacted that have now impacted other people?
Right.
Like
all stemmed from something you said or did.
Some small realization somewhere. Yes. It could have been in passing. It could have been like a one-on-one or something, like I think about that all the time because now that it's starting to come back, like once again, I have a lot of college age students that work for me and they'll come back like 5 years later. I'm like, dude, I didn't appreciate what I had, until now that I'm actually managing other people, before I was like, sorry for being such a dick. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, nope, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Like that was your stage of life. Like I understand that I can't change you.
Nope.
Right. But I can steer you.
I can steer you. When my boys were young and going to Catholic school and playing sports, as you know, everybody's a volunteer, right?
Yep.
There's not, and especially football, they would huddle up, rah, 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 split, practice, whatever. They would come to me and I'd make them go back and shake their coach's hands and tell them thank you. And everybody was like, that's crazy. They said their goodbyes. I'm like, no. This man, this woman, they have volunteered their time to come plant a seed in my child. My son's going to go. And also, I mean, we're doing other things at the same time, right? Like teaching other goals. But that was the purpose, was to say thank you. And to this day, my son is senior at Ole Miss. And he says, Mom, I have so many adults that say, why are you so confident to walk up and just stick your hand out and introduce yourself and shake someone's hand? And he goes, I swear it's because you made us go back as 4th graders, 5th graders, and go back and shake that man's hand. I'm like, you know what? That felt good because he at 21 years old, he's appreciating what we did younger. And even the coaches came and said, your son doesn't need to do that. I don't care if you think he needs to do it. His ass better
this
get
is for
there.
him, yeah.
Yeah. This isn't about you. This is about him. Yes, it's about you, but it's about him.
But also it's more about him, yes.
Right.
That has been, so we talk about impacting employees and like the people that come through your life, but more importantly now, I want to impact my kids. Once again, we were talking about my parents, came from nothing, and like Catholic schools was like where they spent all their money. Right. Because that was the most important thing for them because they saw my future somewhere else that I didn't already see. I see the same thing for my kids now. I see where they're going to be, and it's only going to be better than what I had for sure.
Right.
And not from like a monetary standpoint. It's from I can give you physically all the things that I never had growing up, but that's not going to change anything. What's going to change is the thought process that I didn't develop until like my 30s.
Right.
I'm going to give that to my kid now when she's 3. Right. Like I have Jeff talks about this all the time. Is like, he's got other friends and stuff who have kids, and like you see the differences in how parenting styles affect children now.
Right.
And once again, I'm lucky because I'm surrounded by people who are like myself, right? My partner Trent, like we treat our kids like adults.
Right.
Like we don't coddle. Like obviously if you skin your knee, I'm like, oh, poor baby, right?
Oh, but that's different. I know.
But when you give up,
right.
I say we don't give up in this family. Every single time they want to give up, we don't give up, right? It's one of those core values that they'll always have.
Right.
Like last night, my kid was trying to read this book. She's like, Daddy, it's too hard. And I was like, finish it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not reading it to you. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to read it. You're going to sound it out. And if you can't sound it out, show me the word and I'll tell it to you.
Right.
But you got to try first.
Right.
So I don't want to, because you get to the point where like you want to, like, as giving as I am and like as much as I want to like help people, you find that doesn't really help people. Right. Giving people the answers.
Oh, no. Doesn't help.
No.
Right.
And you used to think, because like whenever you're frustrated, you want someone to give you the answers, but we were talking about like figuring it out on your own, right? When you figure something out on your own, the feeling you get from that, the confidence you get from that,
yes,
that is what's the most important, because you'll take that confidence into anything that you do in life.
Right. And then you figure it out on your own. And then like my job at Outback and what I feel my purpose is now is, let me show you how you can be more successful doing what you're doing. Let me show you let me show you a different way of doing something.
Yes.
And you pick which one works best for you. And then once you show people different options and they have the power to choose, they're like, oh.
Choice.
Maybe I should be doing this. Or wow, I never thought about it that way. 90% of the time they choose to go a different route to be more successful.
They just don't know the options available to them.
Right.
Like once again, they feel trapped.
Right.
Like this is the only way that I can do this to get to where I want to be, from A to B. And you're like, bro, you can kind of, like if you run into a wall, you can go over, under, around, through. Right. There's a bunch of different things that you can do.
Prepositions out there.
Right. Yeah. You can definitely do all those things. Yeah. But if you just say I'm stuck, if you just give up, that's the only option you're going to see.
Quit.
We do not quit.
We do not quit.
Once again, this is probably the reason why we're still in business now is we don't give up.
We don't give up.
It's once you lose hope, that's already, you already lost.
Right.
Like we talked about how, times are tough, but it's only going to make us stronger.
Right.
I'm only going to be better after this. You're only going to be better after this.
Absolutely.
Like the things that you've learned and had to overcome just in your own brain, right? Like just thinking about like how I overcome problems now. Like I was really stressed out during COVID, but if COVID were to happen again, I wouldn't be that stressed out because toward the end of COVID, I wasn't that stressed out anymore because I was like, this is what I need to do.
We were rolling.
It
was, yes, you're right. It was stressful in the beginning and we figured it out.
If it happened again, I got it now.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't freak out like I did
Someone
before.
said to me the other day, we need another code. I'm like, no, we don't.
We do not.
No, we do not.
I know I just said that if it happened again, I'd be fine, but I do not want to go through that again.
But I know that I could tackle it if it happened again.
Right. I know that I'm strong enough now that I'm going to get through it.
Strong enough to do it now.
Right. I'd rather not have to flex that muscle if I don't have to, right? But dude, if I needed to, it's already there. Right. Muscle memory, right?
Right.
It's just trying to figure out what you're, I love these conversations.
I do too. You know, you said earlier that bucket and filling your bucket, this fills that bucket, you know?
It does it for me for sure.
And you started, of course, we got off topic, which is very easy to do when you're having conversations, especially when, you know, very emotional people like you and I are. But you started talking about when you joined the LRA and what you needed. And when coming from a very large corporation, I don't want to say all the answers were given to us because but we had that networking. We had all the different resources, right? And you figured out, we had an attorney on staff that gave you all the laws, you know, all that kind of stuff. And now you're this independent. It's like, how do I get that information? Like, how do I know? Sure, you read. Oh. But how do you, well, the LRA provides that information, or we do as we're networking. And that's what you were looking for.
That's what I was missing.
That's what was missing. I know when I came to Ruffino's, that's what was missing. Now, Ruffin and I came together on a cultural level when he interviewed me. My interview was 2 days. Like the first time we talked, we were on the phone for 3 hours. We didn't talk about a damn job. We talked about, I was like, what is this? It was hysterical because Bruce Attinger, who Ruffin had called Bruce and said, I need help. And Bruce is like, you need to go get Megan, and which I felt honored. And so Ruffin called me and we were talking. And then Bruce called me after and said, how'd that go? I'm like, we just talked for 3 hours about nothing. So I haven't interviewed I don't even know what the job is, but we're going to talk tomorrow, which was funny, but it was phenomenal. But then you get in it, and again, coming from a very large company, and now this is 3 locations, and Ruffin was a hot mess, and that's what we loved about him. But he was not the business guy. He was the face of the company. He was the emotional side of the company. He was making every customer feel like they were the most important person in the building, or the most important person in Ruffin's life, because he had such a gift, right? I didn't know. I don't want to say I didn't know what to do, but I was flying blind and figuring it out. And then, of course, I had friends that I could call. I could call Bruce and say, I don't know about this. And he would say, hey, well, then I got involved in the LRA. It's like, oh, this is what this is about. And now I found my people that I can go, or Jason Nay. I called Jason and said, hey, I need to know this about bartenders in a bar atmosphere. But we all have different gifts, and it's so nice to share those with each other. And I can be vulnerable with you and say, I don't know how to do this, JP. Can you please help me? And you're going to say, I got you. And that's really a blessing.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I didn't have that before, and I have it now. And I just want to make it stronger.
Yes.
You know, you get out what you put in. You know?
And then you also said, if it's not fun anymore, I'm not doing it.
That's always so true. And if it sucks, I'm out. And you know what? We are at a stage in our lives, and I wish I knew this when I was younger, but that's growing, right? That if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. There's tough times. There are times that suck. Yes.
But the whole picture, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it anymore.
It can be difficult. We can go through problems. We can have issues and all of that. That doesn't make it not fun.
It doesn't make it not fun. That's
because that's part of the fun.
That's part of the fun.
Part of the fun is figuring it out. And if you care enough, and if you want it bad enough, we go back to that one. If you want it enough, it's going to be fun for you.
Right.
You know, and that, to me, that's all I need.
Yes. And I don't know what I don't know. And sometimes I need to ask for help. And
I don't know a lot of things.
Yeah. I'm just grateful that I have a network of people that understand my business and are willing to share.
I love that. This turned into like an LRA promo.
Yeah. Unintentionally, but hell yeah, it did, didn't it?
But I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I want to go to
a cooking experience.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're so awesome.
Patrick was talking about that, and then you were talking about Alex doing that. And I was like, dude, by the way, Alex, so much fun to be around.
Yeah.
Like,
she is, as a influencer, she is and I don't want this to sound bad about influencers, but she is a what can I do for you type of influencer versus what can you do for me. I know influencers do stuff for us all the time, but her approach is just different, and she's just she just has a special energy.
I'm glad I met her. Brittany actually put me in touch with her because she was like, you two would hit it off. Like y'all are trying to do the exact same thing, you know, help people, right? And do it through the medium of video.
Yes.
And the first...
You two were hysterical.
It was fun. So the first time I hopped on the phone with her, she was... I can't remember exactly her term for that. She was like, I feel like our two personalities just had a baby or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like some
I can hear her
like
saying
completely
that.
like out of left field. And I was like, I know what you mean. You know, like I completely vibed with like her take on things, and like, I'm not going to call it irreverent, but like there's a lot of things I don't care about. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I am professional when I need to be, but at some point I just don't give a shit.
Right.
You know, like I just want to have fun.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like she brings that same energy to it too. And then, for Oktoberfest, when Jeff was following us around, it was a lot more fun for me to put this video together than it has been for other events or other videos that I've made, because just watching like the look on her face when I would say something, or the look on my face when she would say something, it was, I showed it to somebody and they were like, y'all's comedic timing is awesome. And I was like, this is like the first time we've ever done this together.
That was the first time. Y'all were great.
Yeah. But I loved like everything about it, because like just like the faces that she would make if I took her a drink one time or something, you know, or like when we were talking to Scott when he was dressed as Helga, like there were so many times I was just like, dude, like, is this the first time we've ever hung out? You know? I was texting her and Brittany the other day. I was like, dude, we got to make this a regular thing. Like, how can we make this a regular thing? Like, I don't want to be an influencer, but this was a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun, right.
You know, and I'm all about having a lot of fun. And especially, if, you know, just walk around drinking and eating and like talking to people.
Talk to people.
Yeah. I actually brought that up to Clay Young yesterday. We were on his show yesterday morning, and I usually don't offer this because it's like, it's not something that I offer to people, but I was like, dude, if you get me drunk, I will shoot this for free. You know, like,
yeah. All right.
Because it's that much fun.
Right.
You know, and then my whole thing was, if I do this, then I'm going to bring Alex with me. Yeah. Because that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, y'all were great together.
Doing it by yourself is cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had to get out of my shell when we were doing it for the food show and for Fête Rouge and stuff. Because
you were so funny. You were like, I'm nervous. You're nervous.
I'm getting a lot less nervous now.
Yeah. Doing the uncomfortable stuff all of a sudden becomes comfortable.
It makes you, I was like, what am I so afraid of right now? You know, I would normally talk to these people anyway.
Right.
Exactly what I would say on camera is exactly what I'd say if there's no camera in front of me.
Right.
You know, probably something stupid, you know, probably something that doesn't make sense. And I'll probably have to be like, well, let me explain myself, you know, but I don't care, you know, and I think that's what makes it that much more fun for me is.
Well, and it's real. It
is.
It's who you are.
I'm goofy. I'm weird. You know, I say things I probably shouldn't say. I say things that don't make sense.
Yeah, that's
you know,
quirky makes us all.
And I don't care. I lean into it.
Quirky makes the world go round.
Yeah. If I was quote unquote normal, I'd probably be so bored.
Yeah. I have a keychain. It looks like, you know, the old school label makers.
Like the stamp?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So my mom, it's on my keys for business, and it says hot mess.
Yeah.
And everybody knows they're mine, of course. Mm-hmm. And when they look at it, they're like, holy cow, that is perfect. Who got this for you? My mom. And they're like, your mom. Like, yeah, my mom says I need to embrace my hot messness.
Yeah. You have to. I think that's what makes everything so much better. Yeah. It is so much better when you just don't have to fake it.
Right.
That whole term, fake it till you make it, I do not believe in that at all.
Yeah.
I hate faking. I've tried it. I've tried the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not good at it.
You don't feel genuine.
It looks fake.
It is fake, and you hate doing it the whole time.
Yeah. It looks, yeah.
It's absolutely
it's very awkward.
You know, like it's.
Just be yourself. Quirky and all.
I was about to say.
Hot mess and all.
I was like, how do you. Being yourself might not always be the best advice for me sometimes in certain situations, right?
Well, I mean, you.
But eventually it always comes out. Right. Once I get to know you.
Yes.
This personality will always come out.
Well, you're not faking it in a first interaction. You're just holding back
a little bit. I'm just not giving you all of it. I'm giving you most of it until I see how much you can take.
That. I think that's human nature. You go into a situation and you're professional or you're quiet or you're,
taking it in,
whatever
observing.
The atmosphere is that you need to be. And then once you're there, you're there. And this is so horrible to say. I don't even know what committee it is, but it's a committee for the state board where we were doing strategic planning. I don't even know how I was invited to be a part of this. And we're sitting there with all these people, and I'm quiet the whole first day, just soaking it in. I'm trying to figure out my place there. And, there's people that have been members of the LRA a lot longer with really big restaurants. And here I am, just little old me. And then the next day I don't want to say on fire, but I was talking a lot, and Bob, the, what do you call it? The facilitator was like, whoa, well, Megan decided to join us. Like, hey,
where were you yesterday?
I just needed to figure it all out. And once I'm comfortable, you get all of me. But I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, what my place is. And I didn't want to really screw up. I got to figure it all out. Yeah. Once I'm in. But I had to figure it out before I was fully engaged. But yeah, then you get the part of me that just
you don't strike me. Yeah. You don't strike me as the type of person to pretend to know something that you don't, for sure.
No, I don't.
And
that's right.
When you first get introduced into any organization or group, the person, like, bro, learn me first.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sure you get this with people that you hire too. It was like, why don't you learn us first?
Yes.
And then you can tell me what we need to do.
Correct.
Right? Don't come in day one and be like, we need to move this over here. We need to do this. And you're like, no.
Right.
I like, learn me first. Right. We've been doing this for a very long time. What we do works. It has a reason. Everything that we do has a why behind it. Figure out the why, and then tell me if that why is good enough or not.
Or like in Patrick's case, when he came on at Ruffino's, he was ready to run, and I needed him. And I said, oh, no. The first 30 days, you're doing nothing but building relationships. He's like, what? I'm like, that's all? Don't correct anything. Keep notes. Unless it's a 911.
If you're like getting high at work or something, like let's go ahead and fix that real quick.
The first 30 days is all about building relationships. We have plenty of time to make an impact. Now's your opportunity to introduce yourself and just get to know your people and let them get to know you.
That's how you build that team.
Yes.
You do not build a team coming in there and barking orders at people, pretending like you're better.
Right.
Not even pretending, like they're going to perceive it as you're better than them. And you're like,
they already knew he was coming in as executive chef, right? So there's already that perception.
Yeah. So that base layer of respect that we were talking about.
But we wanted to knock that down and just be a person and build a connection with everybody.
You can't develop people unless you have that connection with people. The connection is what develops people. No one's gonna listen to you if they don't feel connected to you.
No, absolutely not. That's
like they'll nod their head. They'll tell you yes. They'll tell you exactly what you want to hear.
You see the nod. You know exactly what they're saying.
And you're like, no, dude.
That doesn't work.
I like to ask like a lot of questions, but like, what can we do better? I ask for feedback at the end of all my one-on-ones, and I want you to tell me what I could have done better for you.
Right.
Because I don't know what works for you.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure it out, right? Like we were talking about the colors. Like I think you're this color, right? Or I think you're this personality, so I'm going to treat you this way for now until I can figure out more about you. And then once I start to get more from you, and they go, well, maybe you're more this, or maybe you're in the middle, maybe you're this and that, right? Because everyone's different.
Yes.
I think the most fun part of my job is figuring out who you are, what makes you tick, and how I can get through to you.
Yes.
Because when you can get through to somebody, the sky's the limit after that.
Oh, yes. And it feels so good.
Oh, it's so full. Talk about writing, I'm grateful in my journal, right? Yes. It's like, oh my God, this person gets me now.
Yes.
Now I'm not just the boss, or now I'm not just the owner, right? Now it's like, he understands me. We get where we're going together. Those are the best relationships that we ever get to make. And the restaurant business does that for us.
Yes.
I call them seasons. Like, you're not going to be with me forever. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be with me for maybe 2 years, 3 years.
Well, really, there's I'm lucky. Out of everybody we employ, there's this many that are going to be with you or make a career out of this, right? So you've got all of this. And I know that, we know we're the pit stop along the way, and I'm going to welcome you.
I call it stepping stone.
Yes. But you're going to walk out of here more confident, understand time management, understand how to handle pressure, being able to talk to people and confront, confrontation.
Yes.
Negative, how to handle negative confrontation, all that. Every person that comes through our doors is going to, I see what you're doing. Every person that comes through these doors is going to be.
It's hard for me to hide anything,
right.
You know?
I'm like, I know what he's doing.
You're really good at picking up on micro expressions. That's probably one of the reasons why you're so good at what you do.
That's hysterical. That was good.
Yep.
And that's a wrap.
That it should be. It really should be. I thank you for coming in.
Oh, that was so perfect.
Now I know why we get along so well. Those are the little things that I look for. I look for those things. It could be an eye twitch. It could be anything. Yeah. Right? Now I know something is wrong and I need to figure it out. Yes, right? Yeah. Because it might not be what I'm saying. You know, like some people will be like, okay, what did I say wrong? I was like, okay, let me figure it out. Right? Like something just happened. You know, it could be anything.
That was perfect.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was very good.
That's pretty good.
Oh, and leave on good laughter.
Always. If you're not laughing, you're not having fun.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? I laugh a lot.
Laughter's the best medicine. Oh gosh, I do too. I laugh. Look, I'm crying. I laugh a lot.
I laugh to myself. So when I was 20, I got diagnosed with ADHD and they put me on Adderall. And before that, when I was partying, I took Adderall for a different reason. And so I was like, dude, hell yeah. You're going to give me Adderall? You're going to give it to me. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so when I took it regularly, I lost all of those fun thoughts in my head. And was I more productive? I don't even know if I was more productive because like you're just trying to do mundane things all day long and they suck anyway.
Yeah.
So like, why am I trying to make like this fun? It's not fun.
Right.
Now that I can recognize that it's not supposed to be fun, but it's important, we have to do it anyway. That's a completely different mindset, right? But like when you tell me like you're supposed to have fun and concentrate and like focus and you're like, no, dude, no way.
Yeah.
But when I was taking Adderall, and that's why I've never touched it since, is I lost all of those fun thoughts that I walk around laughing and smiling to myself all day long like a crazy person, you know? Patrick literally texted this the other day, like yesterday it was. He said something and I said something and Trent said something and then I said something really weird. I'm just gonna say it. I was like, we were getting ready for the Clay Young show and I was like, I'm going to have my party panties on. And I was like, frick, why did I text that?
Why did I say that out loud?
And then I was like, it's like probably not even like 30 seconds after I sent that text, I sent the next one. I was like, dude, I kind of debated like not saying that, but I was like, dude, I did it anyway. Yeah. And then Patrick's like, sometimes you have to let those intrusive thoughts like just go or through or something. Yeah. And I was like, it happens Patrick. A lot with us. It happens a lot, you know? And it's like, why would I say something like that?
Well,
you know?
Because it was there.
It always, if I think it, I say it. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the best qualities about me is if I think something, I'll say something. And if I don't want to say something, that means I don't care about you enough. And then that probably means we shouldn't be hanging out.
Right, yeah. You know? I often do some things that are like major blonde moments. And sometimes I'll catch them before I actually do them.
And then you do them anyway?
But I find it so funny that I share with everybody what I was going to do. And I laugh so hard while I'm doing it. And they're like, you just told us what a dumb thing you were getting ready to do. I was like, I know, isn't that hysterical? But I just think it's funny that if I would have done that, that would have been really bad. But yeah. And I laugh really hard about it.
You have to. That's why I think makes you so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a lot of fun to be around.
Thank you.
I had a lot of fun talking today, like for real.
It was great.
We didn't, to be honest, I didn't even get to figure out all of the things I wanted to learn about you.
Well, we just started talking. You never asked questions. We were just talking.
I know, but like we'll probably do this over drinks or something anyway. Yeah. So it's not like I won't get the opportunity to ask these questions.
Right.
But I want the things like that you've learned from like the corporate side of things, the consistency, the training, like all of those things that I thought I wanted to talk about didn't even really come up today, which is cool, by the way. Like I don't really care that we didn't get to talk about that.
Right.
But that is something that I think people would be really interested in is like,
sure.
I know, right? So we'll do another part 2. I say this all the time to people because I won't bring you on if we're not gonna have a part 2.
Right.
You know, like I'm not that type of person that's like one and done. I'm like, no, I want to get to know people. Yeah. Like the first podcast I ever do with anybody, it starts off kind of weird because we don't know what we're gonna do yet, and then by the end we're like, dude, we're doing this again. Weird? No, it never does.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I don't know if I ever felt weird at any moment.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Yeah. It usually doesn't, to be honest. I think it's weird.
You probably set that up in your head and then it doesn't happen.
I think that it's weird, yeah. I don't, because I rewatch all of these and like it never, when I think something is weird, it's not really weird.
Yeah.
But in the moment, for some reason, my brain will tell me like, bro, is that weird? You know what I mean? Like, should I have said this or should I have set this up differently? You know? And then whenever you see it, you're like, oh, that was completely normal for me.
It's very normal.
Yeah. Like, but once again, I second guess myself a lot. You know, I'm in my own head a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a curse, but a blessing at the same time.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. This is great.
I know. It's
fun.
We're going to do more of this. And I want to bring in more people to do the exact same thing that we did today, all at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do that yet, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, we'll totally figure it out. And the energy is something.
Oh, yeah. I'm an energy person.
Yeah. Well.
You know. Yeah.
We're a force to be reckoned with when we're all together.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Those are some of my favorite times is when we all get together and it's like, whoa. It's a bunch of people who get each other.
Yes.
It's a bunch of people who understand like literally all the bad things that are happening. We're all a bunch of doers. Yeah.
And we love, we're doers.
We're doers who are trying to delegate, I feel like. Yeah. That's hard. Yeah. You know, like, because I know that if I did it, I'd crush it.
Yeah.
But I can't do everything by myself anymore.
Can't.
So that's part of the development side is like, how can I make you as good as me or better than me? So we can still achieve the exact same thing, but now we can do more.
Right.
You know, like increase our circle of influence.
Increase our circle of influence. That's right.
I'm actually going to look a lot more into that because I feel like it fits in with that radical candor thing so well.
It absolutely does. That's why I was like, wait a minute. It goes.
Mm-hmm. I like learning from people. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
How many times are we going to end this?
I don't know. We're done.
We're done. Cut it. Take it. We're done.
Cut it.
We're done. We're out.
Done.